If you're anything like me over the summer, you found yourself caught up in the hype for the LEGO Star Wars AT-TE, and for good reason. It's the best AT-TE build they have ever done, plus you get 5 minifigs and 3 battle droids, Phase 2 Cody for the first time ever. Like, there's a lot to like about this set on paper. Unfortunately, once I had it in hand, it became painfully obvious that this set was not as good as it seemed. So about a week ago, LEGO held their fan media days in Billund, Denmark, which is basically where all the people that really shill for LEGO get invited to go to Denmark and see new LEGO sets early for like 2023 and stuff, and talk to designers. And one of the topics that was brought up, of course, because it's been such a topic in the community, is the AT-TE, and it's got a couple issues. The first of which, not even the main topic of this video, but it made me genuinely sad to hear the answer to. Seeing this set obviously be a Episode 3 Utapau set and include a spider droid instead of a crab droid, it just completely baffled me. If you watch the scene in Episode 3 on Utapau, there are no spider droids, but there are crab droids, and at that, there's a couple of cool scenes, including crab droids where like a 212 trooper runs up to one, shoots down into it. That scene to me was just really cool as a kid, watching a clone trooper run up to a droid and just stuff his weapon into it. And so the official reason as to why we have an inaccurate spider droid instead of an accurate crab droid in the Utapau AT-TE is because they quote-unquote didn't even consider it. That is so saddening to me. I don't necessarily like saying that LEGO Star Wars designers don't care, because that is quite a blanket statement that is not probably true. To literally not consider a crab droid and just throw in a spider droid tells me they probably didn't go back and watch Episode 3 to make this set. They probably Googled AT-TE, they probably Googled Phase 2 Cody, and then threw on some 212 troopers and a clone gunner, because the clone gunner we don't see in the movie. So they probably just threw that in now that we know they didn't even consider an accurate crab droid. It's honestly just sad to me. It makes me sad. It doesn't make me angry like some other things have from LEGO over the past couple years. It makes me sad to see such a lack of care for something I love. How do you just not even consider it? It's part of the scene, bro. It's there. Watch the movie. It's a good movie, I promise, you'll enjoy it. The other talk of the town have been the 212th Troopers, because they are grossly misprinted. As you might know, 212th Troopers helmets looked pretty distinct, in which they come to a point with the orange on the top, and the orange kind of rides the fin of the helmet, versus the LEGO helmet, which is advertised as having that point and looking proper, and in fact they had correct in 2014 when they released 212th Troopers. However, when you buy the set for $140, what you end up receiving does not look like what they showed you, because it now is shifted down a lot, and then it kind of bows out and away from the fin. So it doesn't have the point, and the lines aren't like proper on the top of the helmet. It just is what it is, and it looks really ugly. I've seen some people talk, oh yeah, it doesn't matter to me, it looks fine. It's fine if you don't care, but I can't imagine saying this inaccurate bit looks better than it would look if it's accurate. And then you get the straw man argument of like, well, it's a toy, it's not supposed to be 100% accurate. And that's right, it's not supposed to be 100% accurate. It never will be. It's not a 1-to-1 scale version of a trooper. We're just asking for the basics here. We're asking for the helmet to look generally like the 212th helmet, not just happen to have some orange markings on top, you know what I mean? So a bunch of different rumors have kind of been circulating as to why the helmets are the way that they are, and I've received a bunch of conflicting DMs from you guys. I appreciate y'all messaging me your experiences, and what I have basically been told from viewers is that they have contacted LEGO customer service on multiple occasions and gotten different answers. In some cases, they have been told that this is something that is going to be fixed by the end of the year, and that it was an error, and you know, everything's going to be fine and dandy, don't worry. And in other cases, I've had people message me and say that this was a finalized design, it's what was intended, Disney signed off on it, shame on you, Disney, for signing off on this. And so you can see, obviously, two very conflicting stories basically coming from LEGO customer service. And the thing with LEGO customer service is, depending on what it is, they might just be telling you something to tell you something. I personally went on lego.com and ordered some replacement parts, and when I received my replacement parts, despite the replacement part also being advertised as the proper print, you can see here in the picture, it looks proper, the replacement helmets that I received were not the proper print.
I am shocked and appalled.
So it's been about a month since I did that. I personally now contacted customer service through the chat and tried to get to the bottom of it myself because I'd received conflicting reports from viewers, and I was like, you know, hey, I got a little problem here. The helmets are wrong. Sent along a picture of my helmet and had explained that I had already ordered replacement parts, received the replacement parts, and they were also wrong. And unfortunately, the customer service rep was basically like, yeah, don't worry, I'll send you more replacement parts. And I'm like, I was just like, but that probably won't solve the problem. In fact, I'm positive it won't. Obviously, they can't do anything about it. It's not their fault. And they just don't know. And like, unfortunately, I just didn't get the answer I was hoping to get, which was one of like the, yeah, it's what we intended, or, oh no, this is like definitely an error and it's gonna be fixed. Like I didn't get one of those concrete answers my viewers had gotten. And so as I had mentioned, the fan media days happened last week and the designers were asked about the 2/12 helmet and the misprint of it. And you know, the graphic designer, in fact, was asked this. Not the like designers that design the sets and like say, we want these minifigs on this set, I guess, right? The guy who makes the art that goes on the figures. The guy who knows his stuff, right? Or is supposed to know his stuff. And he apparently said that it is a purposeful print. It is supposed to look the way that it looks, despite it looking absolutely terrible and looking nothing like the way that is advertised and everything that LEGO has advertised the 2/12 helmet in, including this video of the AT-TE on Geonosis, which is ironic because people told me that Phase 2 Cody wasn't on Geonosis and therefore couldn't be in the UCS gunship. Isn't that funny that LEGO would then advertise Phase 2 Cody on Geonosis? I'm sorry I had to bring that up, but that's just ironic to me. It's so dumb, but it's like, why not just advertise it on Utapau like it is supposed to be? Anyway, so the designer basically confirmed that this is a purposeful print and that it is due to a printing limitation. Exactly what limitation, of course, we will not be privy to. God forbid we give people enough information to be able to reasonably understand where you're coming from other than a cop-out answer of, oh, we couldn't do it because we had a limitation. Okay, so where was that limitation in 2014 when you did the other 2/12 Trooper? You know, that looked perfectly fine. In fact, it looked great. And that's why I was so looking forward to these 2/12 Troopers, because I thought we would have something that would reasonably match that and I could army build something and it would look great. Nah, we just don't have that. No, can't have nice things. The only thing I can imagine happened is they had a terrible boating accident in Billund and can't print helmets properly anymore. Like, seriously, I have no idea why. It's insane. Okay, I lied. I kind of have an idea as to why, potentially. So there is a difference between the 2014 and 2022 helmet being the very ugly holes on the side of the helmet. The holes not actually being in use for the actual 2/12 Troopers. I am well aware that it does provide extra customizability, however, at the cost of actually looking good and potentially at the cost of having a good looking print, I don't quite think being worth it. It is, of course, worth it and wholly necessary for Phase 2 Commander Cody to have the newer helmet mold. I would propose, however, that if in fact the new helmet mold with the terrible looking empty holes is the reason that the print on top cannot be printed properly, that they should have probably kept the 2014 style helmet mold, because they still make it. They could just still be using it and use two different style of clone trooper helmets in the same set, depending on the needs of the individual clone trooper. I know that's insane. I know it has never been done before. It would be impossible to manage so many different individual pieces in a set. I mean, one more different piece in a set that has 150 different pieces, how could they manage that? It would be a terrible disaster. I mean, it might just cause LEGO to go bankrupt. They only made $1 billion last year. As the broken record goes, only the best is good enough, and I believe this is a case where that absolutely applies. 1000%. It is just awful to see this company the way it is. And it's even worse to hear like them just not care that people care about this. Like, this is very clearly an issue, and it's one of the bigger types of issues you can have with an individual LEGO set in the grand scheme of LEGO, having something just literally not the way it is on the box by a pretty wide margin. And just to hear them dismiss it as, no, it's the way we intended it to be because we have a printing limitation that, again, mind you, didn't exist when they started making these figures 8 years ago. They've just suddenly forgot how to print an arrow on top of a white helmet. It's absurd to me. Anyway, LEGO Star Wars has doubled down. They apparently will not be fixing the 2/12 helmet because they already fixed it by making it worse.